If you're a hockey fan, you know certain nights carry the weight of entire seasons. Tonight is one of those nights in Toronto. For months, the whispers grew louder. A superstar on the brink, a franchise at a crossroads. As the Maple Leafs face elimination against the Florida Panthers, star winger Mitch Marner finds himself at the heart of one of the game's most gripping storylines. Could tonight mark not only the end of the Leafs' playoff dreams, but also the final curtain? Call for Marner in a blue and white sweater. Grab your seats. This is a saga of hope, frustration, and a future that suddenly looks wide open. A contract situation. Spinning out of reach. Let's start with what has everyone buzzing. Mitch Marner, beloved by many and scrutinized by all, is just weeks away from unrestricted free agency. Leaf Nation is anxiously waiting for a sign that their homegrown star will be sticking around. But according to Chris Johnston of The Athletic, it's time to face hard facts. He flat out states there's absolutely no reason to believe Marner will sign another contract in Toronto before July 1st. This news hits harder after reports that Marner declined to negotiate a season extension or even consider waiving his no-move clause before the trade deadline. In essence, the stalemate has reached a boiling point. Johnston doubles down. Everything is lining up for him to walk free. That isn't just a hint, it's a siren. Performance in the spotlight, shortcomings on the biggest stage. Why has this story captured so much attention? Because for the second straight year, Marner has struggled to silence critics when it counts most. He's part of Toronto's so-called Core Four, players counted on to lead through the playoffs. But too often, the production hasn't matched the promise. This year's postseason has felt like déjà vu. Toronto, once again, faces an earlier-than-expected exit. Marner's offensive numbers have failed to live up to his staggering $14 million cap hit. The only thing higher than his expectations are the emotions in the stands, where fans are left wondering if the team has hit its ceiling with this group. Every costly turnover, every missed opportunity, raises the uncomfortable question: is it time for something new? The asset management dilemma, Toronto's looming gamble. The Leafs now face a dangerous scenario, losing their star winger for absolutely nothing. From an asset management perspective, this is hockey's version of a gut punch. A player of Marner's caliber walking out the door without compensation would be a black mark on the Toronto front office. And yet, this possibility feels more real by the day. Marner's refusal to waive his no-trade clause at the deadline is still fresh in the minds of management and fans. It torpedoed a chance to bring in Colorado's Mikko Rantanen, a move that could have changed the entire franchise trajectory. As it stands, Marner's contract limited Toronto's options, and now the clock is about to strike midnight. Section 4. Emotional fallout. From hometown hero to fan frustration. Let's not forget the human side. For years, Marner was the hometown golden boy. He grew up in the GTA, wore the crest with pride, and played a style that embodied Leafs hockey at its best. But how quickly sports can turn. For many fans, this postseason feels like the final straw. Years of heartbreak have turned loyalty into exasperation. And the criticism isn't just for Marner. Austin Matthews, the Leafs' other marquee name, has also drawn ire after an uninspiring playoff. Post-game debates are less about what went wrong and more about whether this core four ever had what it takes to deliver. As frustration boils over, you can feel an entire city preparing for a painful but necessary change. Should this be the end? Fresh starts, hard truths. Sometimes, both sides need a reset, and that might be exactly where we stand. Johnston reports there's a growing sense Marner is ready for a new beginning. He'll get paid handsomely, likely the same $14 million somewhere else. But there's a strong argument that Toronto should not be that team. There's no way around it. If the Leafs are eliminated tonight, the pressure to create a workable return for Marner becomes enormous. Another early exit can't be whisked away with run-it-back speeches. Fans demand more. A trade this summer seems increasingly likely, not as punishment, but as a path forward for both parties. Lessons learned, the evolution of contending. Today, Toronto's situation raises bigger questions about how to build a champion in today's NHL. The main four formula seemed seductive. Lock up your stars and let the magic happen. But in high-pressure markets like Toronto, sometimes more flexibility is what drives teams over the hump, not just more star power. Cup contenders adjust, reinvent, and aren't afraid to rip the bandage off, even when it hurts. If Marner's era ends this summer, it will be a moment for reflection across both the franchise and its fan base. Is Toronto ready to build a team that matches both the market's ambition and its frustration? Are the Leafs prepared to reassert an identity beyond the shadows of a failed core? The next move is everything for the Maple Leafs, and for Mitch Marner, everything hinges on the next few weeks. With each passing day, the script looks more like a farewell than a new beginning. Will Toronto pull off a daring trade and steer the EHO franchise in a bold new direction? Or could late-season heroics change minds and reopen doors that seemed shut? Now, I turn it over to you, our loyal hockey community. Should the Leafs let Marner walk, make a blockbuster trade, or is there one last twist left in this long-running story? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you appreciate these in-depth breakdowns, give us a like to keep the conversation going. Thanks for staying with us through the highs and lows, because in hockey, as in life, the next chapter is always closer than we think.